Hi everyone and welcome to my very late June book haul. First of all, I've found somewhere different to film my videos. I'm hoping this works out better. I've always struggled with comfortableness in various other places I've tried shooting. Here's really comfortable and the lighting is amazing, so hopefully this will be the new place for me to shoot videos. This month I've decided to do my book haul a little differently. I've split it into two. I'll be filming both parts one after each other, and then I'll upload them as and when I get them edited. It's partly because of the ridiculous amount of books I need to haul, this month being 36, but it's secondly because it just helps me split the genres up a bit more. It's not even necessarily like it's an obvious thing. Basically, I'm going to do a physical book haul and a digital book haul. Today, this video is going to be my physical book haul, of which I've got 14 books here. But basically, I find a lot of my physical books lesser well-known books because I rarely buy physical books. So these are the books that I just enter Goodreads giveaways for or get sent from publishers. They're books that you might not have heard about. Whereas my Kindle books are usually like well-known books that will probably interest more people. So yeah, that's the logic behind it. I'd probably best get to it as we're already almost a couple of minutes in and I've not even started showing you all these books yet. First one is The Rug Bazaar by Mary Lee MacDonald. Now, as ever with most of these books that I request on Goodreads, I rarely remember what they're about by the time they come through. But I thought this one was cute because I've put a little book plate in it and signed it as well. Yeah, can't really tell you what it's about. There's no synopsis anywhere, so I'll just leave that one at that. The next book is Me and the Marquise by Ty Burnway. Ooh, blah. There we go. No glare. This one, there is a synopsis on the back, so I'll just read that out for you. Is she mad or is she just bad? She's certainly dangerous to know, the modern woman who dares to live her life according to the principles of notorious 18th century kinky French nobleman, the Marquis de Sade. My French isn't so great. So if I've pronounced that wrong, terribly sorry. Taking the perverse philosophy of the first ever sadist, I don't know how to say that, as her ideal and helped along the way by a former lover, a colleague and her daughter, this modern day madame experiences life as the Marquis longed to live it and finds that such an existence can be more than a little difficult to achieve. Will the ladies experiment to emulate the Marquis's philosophy and life be a big success, or is she doomed to failure? That's quite a nice short book. Quite looking forward to picking that one up. I have finally caught up on my Goodreads goal, but it's still good to have short books just to help me get ahead of it. Next we have Bum Rush, the Fantasy, which is a poetry book by Scott Wozniak. This is a sort of self-put together booklet, I think. It looks quite unprofessional, but at the same time I'm not going to judge a book by its appearance. I have had a little glance through this and thought that it did look actually quite good. We'll have to see how it actually goes though when I properly pick it up. It's just sort of almost looks like marker pen and just like something that you could put together at school. The cover itself is quite basic, as is the actual publishing book. All the same, I'll be giving this a go and reviewing it once I get round to it. Also worth noting, I'm still very behind on my reviews. I will be catching up one day. You're gonna have to just bear with me, I'm afraid. And then we've got A Mother's String by Andrea Mackenzie, and this one is also a book of poetry, considerably more professionally put together, and it's also signed, which is always nice. But A Mother's String is about the lessons we learn in love and patience. It is about the family ties that bind even in the absence of those we are bound to. The poems are haunted by the memory of homes lived in or wished for. In them we remember our younger selves who have still to learn how far we can climb, how far we can fall. I do actually like to dabble in a bit of poetry. I don't really necessarily know what I'm talking about when I review it, but I do enjoy reading a little bit of poetry here and there. Next we have Lady in Red by Evie King. Estelle has never met anyone quite like Milo. Outgoing, sophisticated and popular with everyone. He and his undeniable charisma have the bookish Estelle hooked from the moment she meets him. Their erotic adventures open up the naive student to pleasures beyond her wildest imagination. When her life tears them apart, Estelle does her best to move on with a perfectly pleasant new man and an uninspiring suburban existence. Years later, Estelle finds her path crossing Milo's once again. Frightened by the animalistic desire that instantly refuels her, the bored housewife must decide whether to reveal her feelings to Milo and risk destroying the life she has painstakingly built, or to keep her passions a secret and risk destroying herself. It's a breathtaking story of surrender. Lady in Red pushes the boundaries of pleasure as it examines love in its purest and most uninhibited form. Next we have Arabella, the Moon and the Magic Mungo Nut. Is there magic that can change the past? And this is by Hamilton Wendy. Or Wend, I don't know how to pronounce that. And can I just say, I think this cover is really quite eye-catching. I just love the colours more than anything. And the back's gorgeous too. Look at that little monkey. Ooh. This one, Arabella lives in a normal suburb in Johannesburg. It seems her life is going to stay normal forever until her father dies, and she thinks she'll never get over the sadness of it. But then she discovers a hidden world filled with magical creatures in the garden, after being given a special Mungo nut by Kanyi, the mealy lady. There are enemies in the garden too. Das, led by their king Ozymandias, who want to steal the Mungo nut for their own evil purposes. Arabella must lead her newfound friends to battle against the evil birds, but will they be strong enough to fight high up in the skies of Johannesburg, where lightning strikes and Hadida swoop down upon them? And next we have In Your Prime by India Knight. This was published by Penguin. Yet I feel it's still quite sort of unknown. I've certainly not seen it around anywhere else. So I'll read you the back again. Life really does begin after 40. Happy, confident, in control, ready to do and enjoy everything that comes your way. You're definitely in your prime. But too many of us allow midlife's little nuisances to dictate how and who we are. So let India Knight tell you how to deal with the obstacles while living life to the full. Whether it's coping with aging parents, divorce, dating, teenagers, wavering libidos, or your saggy bits, India dispenses perfect tips. She'll instruct you how to drink, dress and party gracefully or disgracefully. But above all, she'll show that happiness is one thing you deserve. Then we have one from HarperCollins, so possibly some of you may or may not recognise this. I again haven't really seen this one around. It is Tilly Bagshaw's The Show. I'll read you the back just in case you are pretty clueless, same as me. Nestled in a glorious patchwork of fields, surrounded by chocolate box villages, Rags Bottom Farm means everything to Gabe and Laura Baxter. But love and tradition don't pay the bills. Luckily, Laura has an idea that will share the secret of her happy, if sometimes muddy, country life, producing a reality show that will save the farm. Until the interfering new vicar, Cummy Bill, takes it upon himself to lead a protest against the show. Suddenly the village is divided. Even Gabe is torn between his newfound fame and his old happy life. With so much at stake for her village and her marriage, will Laura be able to weather the storm, or will her big idea turn out to be her biggest mistake? Then we have Nobody's Story by Stephanie Meyer. And this is book 1, The Golden Locket. I actually, when this one came through the door, started reading a little bit of it because I just felt quite intrigued. There's a cute cat on the back, by the way. I felt quite intrigued and I wanted to see a bit more about it. And I think I read the first chapter actually and sort of skimmed through the next couple. This one I'm really excited to read, as ridiculous as that may seem to a book that is relatively unknown. It's about this lady and it's also about a cat named Angel. Now my boyfriend's mum has a cat named Angel, so that was my main reason for just flicking through the first couple of chapters. I just couldn't help myself. So the one thing I have noticed about this book is that the cat suddenly is able to talk thanks to this locket. I'm not really sure how, like I said, I skimmed it, but I'm really looking forward to this, and I'll probably be picking this one up much sooner rather than later, so watch out for this in a wrap up coming soon. Next we have The Death of Carthage by Robin E. Levin. Again, I'll read you the back because I don't really have much of a clue what this one's about. I started life in some of the most inauspicious circumstances imaginable. I was born in a slave's hut in somewhere in Greece, I can't pronounce that place. My parents were both as loving and attentive to me and my sister as it was possible for slaves to be, but we were poorly clothed and poorly fed, and we were completely at the mercy of our master and his overseers. My childhood did have one advantage that children in more prosperous circumstances often lack. I was very close to my father. We were always together. From the time when I was about 5 or 6, I accompanied him every day to the pastures where we herded sheep. For a foreigner, Papa really knew his Greek and had memorised much of Homer, and he was constantly reciting stories from the Iliad and the Odyssey to me. He was literate and he did his best to teach me to read and write in both Greek and Latin. We had no books, no parchment and no styli, so we had to find ways to write on So we had to find ways to write on rocks or draw letters in the dirt, but he was determined to educate me against all odds. I was about 9 years old when the harsh reality of being a slave became near to me. Clear to me, not near to me. What is wrong with me today? Next we have Rough Edges by Kimberly Cray. Now this looks like another sort of romance kind of novel. I'll read you the back. Divorced mother... why can't I read? Divorced mother Allie Emerson never imagined she'd be raising 2 teenage girls on her own. Between parenting and paying the bills, she hasn't even thought about meeting a man. That changes once she hears local carpenter Braden Fox is in need of a secretary. Back in high school, Allie had done all she could to deny the sparks burning between her and Braden, but would the chemistry still be there after all this time? Braden has heard all about what Terence did to Allie and the girls. He'd been planning to stop by and see how she's getting along, but Allie beats him to it by showing up at his shop in search of a job. Her unexpected visit reignites the old flame Braden used to torch for her. Trouble is, old feelings of resentment return as well. Allie did choose Terence over him after all, and as much as Braden wants Allie in his life, he's not sure he can open his heart to her again. With a second chance at romance, will the bumps in their relationship be too much to get over, or will this carpenter learn to smooth out the past? Now that does sound quite interesting, but the cover really isn't that great. I'm glad that I don't ever read paperbacks in public because I'd feel really quite uncomfortable opening that up in front of people. Next we have an author you've all heard of, Charlaine Harris. The book is called Day Shift. It's part of her Welcome to Midnight series. This one's the second one, and I believe I'd already bought the first one on audiobook quite a while before I entered this competition, so just look at that cover, by the way, isn't it great? I'm really excited to pick these up. The moment I've listened to the audiobook, I will be picking this up and reviewing it. I just can't wait. I'm not going to tell you what it's about because this one you might actually have heard about. Next we have The Invisible Guardian by Dolores Redondo, and this is an international bestseller. This one, I believe, was translated. I think it started off its life in Spanish or something like that, but I can't properly remember. I'll just read you from the inside flap. When the naked body of a teenage girl is found on the banks of the River Batson, it is quickly linked to a similar murder 1 month before. Soon rumours are flying in the nearby village of Elizondo. Is this the work of a ritualist killer, or is it the Basajuan, the invisible guardian of Basque mythology? Inspector Amaya Salazar leads the investigation, returning to the heart of the Basque country where she was born. Shrouded in mist and surrounded by impenetrable forests, it is a place of unresolved conflicts and a terrible secret from Amaya's childhood that will come back to haunt her. Faced with the superstitions Faced with the superstitions of the village, Amaya must fight the demons of her past to confront the reality of a serial killer on the loose. But as she is drawn deeper into the investigation, she feels the presence of something darker lurking in the shadows. Now this is right up my street, like ridiculously right up my street. As I've mentioned before, I will read all sorts of genres, but I love a good murder, mystery, thriller, that kind of thing. So yeah, can't wait for this one. And the last book I have for you in the physical book haul is The Cartel by Don Winslow, and this is the highly anticipated sequel to The Power of the Dog. Now, I've not actually read The Power of the Dog yet, so I'm going to have to quickly pick that one up before I get around to this one. This one came out at the end of June as well, I just note that out to you. I'm not going to read anything from the back since it is a sequel. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. This is also a review copy, so I'm not sure what the final edition actually looks like, whether it's like this one or whether they've changed the cover, but yeah. That marks the end of this physical part of the book haul. Unedited, we are now at 18 minutes. Hopefully I can edit this down to a reasonable length. I'm going to go and film the Kindle side of this book haul now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in about 2 minutes when I start the Kindle video. Bye bye!